That was a little change of order because once I start, we're going to kind of go into a flow of me talking and then you meditating. So thanks for inviting me. This is always a pleasure. I've probably been involved with Westside UUs longer than some of you here. Russell was a student of mine and a friend, and so anyway, I always feel this enormous kind of common ground when I come. So today I want to talk about what contemplation is, how it's emerging as a field of study and practice, and then maybe a little what's in it for you. I talked about this in some ways similar, this about 4 years ago, I think. So, is anybody here then for that? Wow, you remember every word. Oh, so anyway, to begin. So, people have been meditating for millennia, obviously, but it's only over the last few decades that academics have begun to study it as a discipline. What is contemplation and what is it within and beyond traditional religions? My home base, the American Academy of Religion, recently formed a group for contemplative studies, and I started a group at TCU, a kind of initiative to look at contemplative studies about 5 years ago, and we brought in lectures from all over the United States, and it's been a very valuable, enjoyable thing to do. So what is it? Contemplative education adds to what we call our buzzwords, or the regular third-person education that most of you had from elementary school up through college. It adds first-person experiential education to it to help understand others, understand yourself and others' worldviews more deeply in a kind of first-person way. Partly this is my area of expertise, but you can't study Hindu and Buddhist literature and history without recognizing they thought first-person experience is deeply important to understanding yourself and the world. And so if we left that out of our education, it's very important for people to know Buddhist and Hindu history, but if we left out this experiential component, we would be selling students short. And I'm a big kind of missionary for the liberal arts. And this fits with liberal arts education, the idea of knowing and understanding others on their own terms better. But anyway, I'll say a little bit more about that later. One of the things that's exciting to me about contemplative studies is how it's growing in a vast variety of disciplines. So it's happening in psychology, it's happening in neuroscience, it's happening in literature, in the arts, music, dance. So it's very widespread. And I attended a symposium in San Diego on contemplative studies, which had over 1,000 people, and it had people from Tibetan Buddhist monks to really hardcore experimental scientists. It was absolutely fascinating to watch the conversation back and forth. And actually, even at TCU, I taught a course with a modern dance professor, and it was called Mind-Bodiness Contemplative Practice, Theory and Practice. And it was the first time I'd ever worn sweatpants to a class. It's interesting. Maybe the most exciting aspect of it, I'm a religious studies guy, so maybe that, but otherwise, is its emergence in the healthcare field, broadly defined. That there are medical facilities all over the United States, well, in the world, looking at meditation, at yoga, at Tai Chi, and how can they help in human wellness. Probably the best known practice, so I'll mention it, you heard of MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. Yes? Heard that? Anyway, it started by a guy named John Kabat-Zinn, and it focuses on a non-judgmental, present-centered awareness, ideally leading to less stress, less pain. And if you're not about it as decades go on, I think you will. But it's really exciting for me, as a religious studies guy, to see these experimental scientists, healthcare providers really take this seriously. I have a close friend who works they have an integrative medicine program at the MD Anderson Cancer Center. This friend of mine is PhD in Tibetan Buddhism from Rice. He himself goes over around the world teaching Tibetan yoga. He's a very advanced teacher. But they're doing these, kind of double-blind experiments and testing to see how it does relieve stress or improve quality of life in that really kind of most hard-nosed and most important of circumstances, people's life and death. So, one other thing I was looking down in my notes and reminded, there's now programs actually all over the United States, at UVA, at University of Wisconsin. There's a guy named Richie Davidson who is sort of Mr. fMRI of meditation. He puts Tibetan monks in fMRIs and tests them out. So it's happening all over. This is a wave, and I'm bringing you up to date on the wave. So contemplation, I want to emphasize, is this really kind of broad-based thing. It can happen in a religious tradition, but certainly beyond it. So it's various ways of knowing and focusing attention. I'll just list some for you. Sitting, meditation, obviously, walking, the breathing, the mindfulness, yogic postures, visualizing things, silent prayer or group chanting, scripture study, reflective self-inquiry. I have to say, as an academic, I really had the direct experience of studying as a form of contemplative exercise. Observing nature, the arts I mentioned, dance, music, etc. So it's really widely based, and it's something that we are trying to make people feel is valuable. And so this is how I want to switch. That's a little bit about it, but what might be in it for you? Well, sort of philosophically, there's lots of different ways of knowing the world, of knowing oneself and the world. And it's important to understand these various ways, both for yourself, resources you have within yourself you may not know, and understanding other people in the world. And I know this is not a political environment, but I don't think I'd get too much controversy with this crowd about it's an enormously needed thing in our world today, and especially in the last couple days, to understand other people in this world better. And so contemplative exercises brings that more accurate, deeper understanding of the humanity of other humans, or if it does turn out that they are really different, a small number of Muslims who are ISIS, then you should understand how they think too. Not to agree with them, but to understand how to manage the world that we live in. And missionaries. So, empirical studies show that contemplative practice does in fact enhance the ability to concentrate, our depth, quality of attention. They help us develop calm and centered minds and cope with the challenges of everyday life. One of the things that I, and I imagine some of you, might be amused at is the idea of how great multitasking is. Right? You all know one doesn't multitask. You just flip back and forth really fast. And you do whatever you're doing when you flip back and forth really fast. Less well than you would if you were concentrating on it. There's a lot of studies that show this. So the idea that this concentrative, calming experience, however you do it, is merely downtime, that it doesn't enhance your productivity in the world, is just wrong. That there's plenty of studies, and some of you here may know this, that if you do take time out, when you go back into the world, you are in fact more productive. This is something I feel very deeply because as a teacher of students, they're so stressed, they're so overwhelmed, but then what they say is, I don't have time to meditate or take care of myself, right? One of the things for some of you, if you're American, you sleep deprived, right? And to take time to care for oneself will make your capacity to concentrate better. And if you do fall asleep when you're meditating, the people who are sitting go, see, you're not really. Well, what that's telling you is you get in touch with your mind and body. You're not at rest. You need more. So take care of yourself. Do a little nap before. But I know someone I've meditated over 40 years. And when you're rested, you will not fall asleep when you're meditating. So anyway, couple more points. One is that we are embodied beings. This is sort of obvious, but it's worth repeating, that our minds aren't out there separate, that the condition of our body affects our mind, the condition of our mind affects our body. And so to take respite care of oneself, even if it shows you, oh man, I'm so mad, that's revealing of something, of feedback you need to know. That's valuable contemplative time. And so if you've had this experience of feeling emotionally overwhelmed as well, to take some respite time and watch that process. After I said talk about this at 10, I had a couple people come up and talk about, well, I must not be doing it right because, I'm calm sometimes. A lot of the other times, well, one of the things we say in the Buddhist is the mind is a drunken monkey. And when it's bad, the mind is a drunken monkey with the tail on fire. And so if you have that experience, that doesn't mean you're not doing it right. And if you're like my students, who I give a week-long meditation to, if they haven't achieved supreme perfect enlightenment in that week, they haven't done it right. So, anyway, let me just say again, in the ways I've just been running through quickly, and I have a longer speech on this, that it really fits with the classic liberal arts education. There's this old Greek dude who talked about know thyself, and the unexamined life is not worth living. So contemplation is an addition to good things that are already being done. Okay, let me get a little more spiritual mystical for a second. I've been very interested my entire career, and I've written on what are our boundaries really? How are we bounded within ourselves? What is our relationship? How are we related to other beings? How are we related to the environment, both natural and built? How are we related to people in groups here? And one of the things one can argue, and I imagine some people here too, we're not only physically connected, we are metaphysically connected to one another. And what is that? There's certainly mystery in life, but is there a mystery? Is coincidence sometimes coincidence? And in contemplative exercises, we get to explore this. I'm not coming to any conclusion, but it's valuable to explore. So, I mentioned about the health practices. I want to say, given my background, just one kind of little proviso about this, that often when people train with MBSR or bring to yoga, they talk about it like it's disembodied from a long-standing ancient tradition. And I just want to say, because this is what I spent my life's work on, be careful about that. So, for example, yoga is a philosophy in India. I've read all these texts in Sanskrit. It's about world renunciation. It's about wearing an orange robe and going into a cave and detaching. It's not about toning the bod and getting hotter. Right? My wife studied yoga for a long time, and I'm really in favor of that. However, that is There's 8 steps in the classic yoga path. The third one is called asanas. They're the positions that people do. And actually, most of them are modern. They aren't in ancient India. It's from modern calisthenics, starting in the 20th century. There's a lot more if you're interested in hearing about that. But anyway, it's a good thing. But it doesn't have much to do with yoga. And the mindfulness stuff from Buddhism, also strong ethical path that you need to participate with. So these are good, but they've been kind of co-opted. And as someone who spent all these decades reading Sanskrit and stuff, I just wanted to mention that. But again, I want to say it's a good thing. And do these things. Most people are not going to study years, languages, and all that. But those of us who do should mention that. Okay, so what I'd like to segue to now is I would like to read the Metta Sutta. Metta in Sanskrit means, well, either friendliness or loving kindness, depending on how ambitious you want to be. And there's both a kind of short text about it, and then there's a meditation, which I imagine some of you have done. Because of time constraints, I'm going to go a little more quickly, isn't it hilarious? Okay, here we're talking about meditation, contemplation. Oh, I'm watching talk about love, how big the clock is. And so I'm not going to rush. We're not going to spend much time too much. So the Metta Sutta, the scripture on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. They should wish, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they're street or weak or strong, omitting none, the great or mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, living near and far away. Those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any state of being. Let none through anger or ill will harm, but wish harm on another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness throughout the world, spreading upwards to the skies and downward to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing, walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. So you're all, I hope, sitting comfortably. If you want to just take a couple breaths, I'll start reading and asking you to. I always like reading. So kind of centering yourself around your heart. Say these words in your mind. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be at peace. Now think of someone you love. Say to yourself, may he or she be happy. May that person be well. May they be at peace. And now I want you to move to someone either neutral about it, someone at a shop, just pass by. May that person be happy. May he or she be well. May they be at peace. Probably know where I'm going now. Someone you dislike, maybe not too much. Deep breath, may that person be happy. May they be well. May they be at peace. Now let's do a little radiation in the room. Let's radiate this out. All of us sitting here. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be at peace. Why don't we try Fort Worth? We drove here past the various neighborhoods. People downtown, south side, east side. May they all be happy. May you be well. May you be at peace. And let's come back in the room, come into your body, and your heart again, and just for a minute, see if you can feel gratitude. Gratitude for being here with these people. Being an embodied being has the possibility of joy. About the blessings we've had. Okay, if you'd like to open your eyes, I didn't pick the hymn, but it's perfect. It's 10:31.